Okay, so what if you could just summon a car with no driver? Well, according to a recent analysis we're looking at today, that future isn't some far-off dream. It actually just quietly kicked off in Austin, Texas. Today, we're breaking down Tesla's launch of its Robotaxi service, and this isn't just a small step. The source material calls it a gigantic threshold for the company, and really for the whole future of how we get around. All right, so here's how we're going to break this down. First, we'll get into what exactly happened on the ground there in Austin. Then we're going to look at the camera tech that makes all this possible, and trust me, how that leads to some jaw-dropping economics. After that, we'll dig into a really surprising piece of evidence on safety that, get this, doesn't even come from Tesla. And to wrap it all up, we'll zoom out and look at the huge global vision this whole thing is pointing toward. Okay, so first things first, the milestone. The source we're digging into here points to this really crucial moment that just happened, pretty quietly, in Austin. And let's be clear, this wasn't just another test. This was the moment the whole system crossed this line, from being an experiment to being a real, live commercial service. So for the very first time, and this is according to the source material, a regular paying customer can call up a Tesla and it shows up with absolutely no one in the driver's seat. I mean, no safety driver, no engineer in the front seat watching things, just you, the passenger, all by yourself in the car. And that is the key difference, right? We've all heard about employee testing and things like that, but the source really hammers this point home. This is the first time a member of the public is actually paying money for a ride in a totally driverless car. That's the moment this thing leaves the lab and officially enters the real world, the real economy. Right, so the big question is, how on earth is this even possible? Well, the source material we're looking at claims Tesla's tech is just fundamentally different from everyone else's. And really, you have to understand that difference to get the whole argument for how this thing could scale up, like massively. The analysis really draws a line in the sand here. On one side, you've got competitors like Waymo, which use this whole suite of expensive sensors, LiDAR, all that stuff, and they have to painstakingly pre-map every single street in a city. But then, on the other side, you have Tesla's approach. It's just 9 cameras, kind of like the ones in your phone, and a really powerful AI computer. And the key is, it learns from all the driving data that's being collected from millions of customer cars that are already out there on the road all over the world. And here's what's really wild. The car that's actually doing this, the Robotaxi in Austin, it's just a standard Model Y. It's the same car you can go out and buy today. It's not some crazy, $500,000 prototype. And what the source argues is that this implies the self-driving capability is already baked into the entire fleet of cars they've sold. It's just sitting there, dormant, waiting for a software update to turn it on. So this whole camera-first approach, it's not just a nerdy tech detail. It has absolutely massive economic implications. The source we're looking at argues that it completely shatters the basic cost structure of ride-hailing as we know it today. And the cost reduction we're talking about here is it's huge. The source estimates that a normal human-driven Uber or Lyft ride costs about $2 per mile to operate. But once you take the human driver out of the car, they claim that costs could plummet all the way down to around 50 cents per mile. I mean, that's a 75% drop. It's a game changer. So you're probably asking, where does a massive price drop like that even come from? Well, the analysis breaks it down into a few key things. First, and this is the big one, you take away the driver's pay. That's the single biggest cost, gone. But it doesn't stop there. You also get the built-in advantages of an electric car. Electricity is way cheaper than gas, and the maintenance costs are a lot lower because you don't have an engine, a transmission, all those moving parts. Okay, but let's talk about the elephant in the room. If these cars are just driving themselves, how in the world can we know they're safe? It's the big question, right? And what's really interesting is that the source material points to this fascinating piece of evidence, a kind of market signal that actually comes from a company that isn't Tesla. And the source totally acknowledges that this is, the number one worry for most people. But instead of just pointing to Tesla's own safety reports, it offers up an answer from an industry whose entire reason for existing is to calculate risk. We're talking about insurance. 50%. That one number is right at the heart of the safety argument being made in this analysis. So, what does it actually mean? Well, what it means is that a third-party insurance company called Lemonade is now offering a 50% discount on insurance for Tesla owners. But here's the kicker. You only get that massive discount when the car's full self-driving software is actually turned on and active. And this is where the logic gets really, really powerful, right? An insurance company's only job is to price risk correctly. If they get it wrong, they lose a ton of money and could literally go out of business. So the source argues, by offering a 50% discount, Lemonade is basically making a huge financial bet. They are betting their company's survival on the fact that the data proves full self-driving is at least twice as safe as a regular human driver. Okay, so let's pull this all together. You've got technology that's built to scale, economics that are incredibly favorable, and now you have third-party data suggesting it's safer. So, where does this all lead? What's the long-term vision here, according to the source? Well, the source lays out a pretty clear step-by-step plan. You start small, right? Just a few cars in a test city like Austin. Then you gradually increase the number of those cars. After that, you expand to new cities all over the world. The next step is introducing a brand new vehicle, the Cybercab, which is purpose-built with no steering wheel at all. And then the final step? Just flood the world with millions of these low-cost self-driving cars, building this massive global network, all by 2030. And see, this brings us right back to that key tech advantage we talked about earlier. Because the AI is already learning from millions of cars driving around in London and Berlin and Miami right now, they don't have to send out a team to go and painstakingly map those cities before launching. The whole argument is that this system can scale globally using software alone. And that is a totally different and much, much faster way of doing things. So when you put it all together, the source we've been analyzing paints this really clear picture of a total transportation revolution. One that's autonomous, it's electric, and it's just radically cheaper than what we have today. The core argument here is that it's really not a question of if this is going to happen anymore, but when. And that leaves us with the big final question. Now that the first domino has fallen, that first paid ride in Austin, just how quickly is this future going to get here?